Picture this, Africa, a giant continent, right? Now imagine a country so small it's basically a river with borders. That's the Gambia. Seriously, look at a map. It's like someone took a blue crayon and drew a wavy line right through Senegal. That's our Gambia, small but mighty, with a history that could fill a book. Actually, several books. But don't worry, we'll keep it short and snappy, just like the Gambia itself. The Gambia is nestled snugly within the curve of the Gambia River, almost entirely surrounded by Senegal. It's like that friend who crashes at your place and never leaves, except in this case, it's been centuries. But hey, we're used to it. This unique geography has shaped the Gambia's destiny, for better or for worse. It's been a gateway for traders, a target for empires, and a land where cultures collide. The Gambia River, the lifeblood of the nation, flows from the Fouta Djallon Highlands in Guinea all the way to the Atlantic Ocean. This river isn't just for show though, it's been the main artery for trade and transportation for as long as anyone can remember. So buckle up, because we're about to take a wild ride through time exploring the fascinating and sometimes hilarious history of the Gambia. Now we're talking way back before Instagram or Twitter, even before sliced bread. We're talking about the Stone Age. Yes, the Gambia had a Stone Age. Archaeologists have found all sorts of cool stuff. Tools, pottery, you name it. It proves that people have been chilling in the Gambia for a very long time. These early inhabitants were hunter-gatherers, living off the land and probably telling stories around the fire. We don't know all the details, but we can imagine them looking up at the stars and wondering about their place in the universe, just like we do today. As centuries turned into millennia, these early communities developed their own unique cultures and traditions. They learned to farm, they formed villages, and they started trading with other groups. It was the beginning of a long and complex story, a story that would eventually lead to the birth of a nation. Fast forward a few centuries and things start to get interesting. The Gambia River, remember that river we talked about? Yeah, it became a pretty big deal. Traders from across the Sahara Desert flocked to its banks, bringing salt, gold, and stories from faraway lands. Think of it as the ancient version of Amazon Prime, but with camels instead of delivery trucks. This trade brought wealth and prosperity to the Gambia, and soon, powerful kingdoms began to emerge. The Kingdom of Takrur, one of the earliest empires in West Africa, rose to prominence in the 9th century. These guys were the real deal, controlling trade routes and spreading their influence throughout the region. Then came the Mali Empire, even bigger and more powerful than Takrur. Remember Mansa Musa, the guy who went on that epic pilgrimage to Mecca with so much gold, he crashed the economy? Yeah, he was the king of Mali, and the Gambia was part of his vast empire. These empires weren't just about conquering and collecting taxes though. They brought stability, encouraged trade, and facilitated the exchange of ideas and culture. It was a golden age for the Gambia, a time of prosperity and growth. Section 4. Colonization, a not-so-friendly takeover. Okay, so far so good. The Gambia was thriving, kingdoms were rising, and life was pretty sweet. But then, the Europeans showed up, and, well, you know how that usually goes. It all started with the Portuguese in the 15th century. They sailed down the West African coast looking for a new route to India and maybe some souvenirs to take home. They landed on the Gambian coast, planted a flag and claimed it for Portugal. Classic move. The Portuguese were followed by the British, French and Dutch, all vying for a piece of the action. They established trading posts, built forts, and started shipping enslaved Africans across the Atlantic. Yeah, it was a dark chapter in the Gambia's history, a period of exploitation and suffering that left deep scars on the country and its people. The Gambia became a major hub for the transatlantic slave trade, with millions of Africans forcibly transported to the Americas. Families were torn apart, lives were destroyed, and the human cost was immeasurable. It's a painful reminder of the brutal legacy of colonialism. Section 5. The fight for freedom, the Gambia finds its voice. But even in the darkest of times, the spirit of resistance flickered. Gambians never stopped fighting for their freedom, resisting colonial rule through every means possible. From small acts of defiance to full-blown rebellions, they made it clear that they would not be subjugated forever. One of the key figures in the Gambia's struggle for independence was a man named Edward Francis Small. Small was a trade unionist and political activist who dedicated his life to fighting for the rights of workers and demanding self-rule for the Gambia. He's considered the father of Gambian nationalism, a true hero who inspired generations to come. As the winds of change swept across Africa in the 20th century, the Gambia's call for independence grew louder. Finally, after centuries of colonial rule, the country achieved its long-awaited freedom on February 18, 1965. It was a moment of jubilation, a time for celebration and hope for a brighter future. Section 6. Independence and Beyond. Growing Pains of a Young Nation. Independence was just the beginning, though. Like any young nation, the Gambia faced its fair share of challenges in the years that followed. Building a new government from scratch is never easy, especially with limited resources and a legacy of colonial exploitation to overcome. The Gambia's first president, Dawda Jawara, ruled for 3 decades, overseeing a period of relative stability and economic growth. However, his rule was not without its critics, and in 1994, he was overthrown in a military coup led by Yahya Jammeh. Jammeh's rule was a stark contrast to Jawara's. He was an authoritarian leader who cracked down on dissent, muzzled the press, and allegedly committed widespread human rights abuses. His eccentric behavior and bizarre pronouncements made headlines around the world, but behind the facade of buffoonery lay a brutal dictator. Section 7. The Gambia Today, Looking Towards Tomorrow. After 22 years in power, Jammeh was finally ousted in 2016 in a historic election that brought Adama Barrow to power. Barrow's victory marked a turning point for the Gambia, a chance to heal the wounds of the past and build a more democratic future. The Gambia today is a country in transition, grappling with the legacy of its past while striving for a brighter future. It's a nation of warm smiles, vibrant culture, and a resilient spirit that has weathered many storms. The road ahead may be long and winding, but the Gambia is moving forward with a renewed sense of hope and optimism. The country is embracing its potential as a tourist destination, promoting its pristine beaches, diverse wildlife, and rich cultural heritage. The Gambia's story is a testament to the indomitable spirit of its people, a reminder that even the smallest of nations can overcome adversity and chart their own destiny. It's a story that continues to unfold, full of promise and possibility, and the world is watching with bated breath.